side of the shape is that there's that one extra.
You always have that one left over.
So when I hear that, what I'm thinking is, I could, and I had this in mind, so I have to say I'm biased, I had this in mind before we started this. What I was thinking we could do is say x squared equals x minus 1 the quantity times x plus 1 the quantity plus 1. If we want to,
Yes.
if we wanted to relate the activity you did
Right.
with the symbolic, we could go that direction.
Right.
And then say, can I show that that's always true? Are there any other ways to do this?
I'm
Are there
sure
other ways
there
to do
are.
this?
I would have never thought of that way.
Really? Why do you think that is? And I probably should ask, I would never, when you say I never would have thought of that way, which way are you referring?
The one that you just said.
Okay,
I like the way that Jenny represented her metacognition.
okay, you wrote it as you thought it. You wrote what
Yeah.
you thought. And you're saying you never would have thought of writing this out as an equation to be proved. And I think that's a legitimate comment. I mean, I think that's true. The way we think is not always polished and doesn't always appear the way the end quality, and mathematicians are especially guilty of this. You know, they have very beautiful theorems and proofs that they mucked around with a lot before they ever wrote them out in that beautiful little setup that we're getting. My point was, if I wanted to use this activity and relate it to a way to do this, that's one way to do it. That's one way to create the link between the tiles and the way I might look at this as a proof. I'm also wondering if there are other ways.
I'm just wondering, can you show me, so when you add the plus 1 over there, can you show me the rest of what you were thinking?
Yeah, if I can.
Do you want to hit extend page at the bottom?
Yeah.
Is that what
Is
there?
There's a
I
little
can
blue.
In the middle,
Blue.
on blue.
No, on the board.
Yes,
So
just
on
I'll
the
get it.
page
Up.
above.
Okay.
I can get it.
There you go.
There you
And
go.
Start writing.
Do I hit it again?
Yeah,
If you
go
want,
ahead.
well, if you want it completely gone.
Let's see. We were thinking about, can
Gotta
I
pick
do
up a
this or
pen
do I have
first.
to
Yeah.
use a pen?
There you go.
Okay, look at
Just
this.
Stick it out.
We're thinking about this, and then we were, then we were thinking about this. We were thinking about those two ideas, and we had, through our experience, realized that they differed by one, didn't we? If we're going through our thought process, we realized that this one was one less, right? And so what I was thinking was, we could add one to this
To set it equal.
to create an equation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I had in mind.
I was not okay with you adding 1 without the equal sign.
Yes.
I
Yes,
feel better.
I get it, and I get what, yeah, it wouldn't be
Okay,
true, would
that's
it, if
right,
I didn't add that
that's why I
equal
didn't
sign?
understand.
Yes.
I have a question though, why do we want them to be equivalent anyway?
Well, we
I
haven't
thought-
proved,
Weren't we just trying to find out their relationship to each
Yes,
other?
yes. Oh,
Which is what threw me at first when you were up there, because I had automatically set up the equation, and that's why I was ready to add the plus 1, but you
Ah.
didn't write it down.
Right.
So
And
my
I never went
thinking-
to the equation.
No, I didn't either.
Is it
Doesn't
an
make
equation?
sense.
Is it an equation, is the question we're looking at. And so then we're gonna mess with our two sides to see if they turn out to be the same. This is a small part of, I don't wanna quibble about this is a small part of this. It's when we realize the relationship and we realize that it's gonna hold no matter what value we pick for our original number, that's when we've done some algebra.
And I think too, the discussion that we're having, like for me to be able to say as a high school student, I'm not okay with you adding one
One
over there
there,
because
yeah.
that's not equal.
Yes.
I need an equal
Yes.
sign there. I think that's even
Mhm.
richer discussion
I do
than
too.
saying, I need an equation, I need an expression.
Uh-huh. Of course.
Yeah.
And you know, Patty, go ahead.
Finish what you were saying, because mine
I
goes
think you
off.
did.
I thought you were in the middle of saying something. I'm
And I've
sorry.
forgotten.
I know, well,
It's okay.
I completely understand that. Let's see if I remember what I was gonna say now. I kinda like the idea of starting with the blocks and saying, pick any number, make a square with that side length. Because I have kids who don't completely understand it.
Why
They
it's a
don't even
square.
realize what
Yeah.
squaring
What
a
you mean,
number
yeah,
could
that it's actually
geometrically
a
mean.
square.
Yes.
And I like that idea, turning it around.
Uh-huh.
Well, and I like that in certain, like for certain classes.
Yes, I teach the highest level,
Right.
almost highest level in our school, and I teach the lowest level.
Right.
So, yeah, what a dichotomy.
Yeah, I'm thinking of kids that have no number sense at all, numbers, I mean, adding zero, they'll look out their calculators, and that's zero.
Oh, it's sad.
I remember what I
They
wanted
don't,
to
they've
say.
never played with
They never-
blocks.
But that's the problem, they need
They've
to have their
never-
manipulatives because they don't play with it, everything is computerized.
Yes.
So even your regular level classes, I would still start them with this, they may not need to do as many examples as other students, but it's still a good way to introduce it.
And it may not be that they don't get the symbolic approach.
Right.
Many of them do. They follow those steps. Yeah, I get it. I was playing the devil advocate when I said, I don't get that. But many students do get it. But their understanding just becomes so much richer when they can link it to something, something concrete that they can think about when they think about those relationships. I did think of my thought that I wanted to share, and it was, how the Common Core standards are encouraging us to get kids on board with math symbolism. They need to be able to solve equations and do things. And so that's not going away.
Mhm.
That part of it is not going away. But I think if we can find ways to make concrete what they're doing symbolically, we can help them be comfortable with the procedures they're learning.
Well, and I'm sure as you progress through the year, like this would be, a great tool here. You keep utilizing tools, and then you get to a point where you put your problem on the board.
And they automatically are, yes.
And you go, okay, support this, model this.
Yes.
And then they go and do it.
Yes, it becomes part of the culture.
I have found in the past when I've taught honors classes, they get very frustrated with me when I pull out the manipulatives and make
Oh,
them
yeah.
show it, like they only wanna do the algebra part.
It's almost like it's degrading them to touch those things.
Yeah, but they can't show me that way, like they only can explain. So is that something that with honors kids you would push them to be able to?
The truth is, not only honors kids, by middle school, many kids are reluctant to touch
My
concrete
regular
lines.
and special ed
Are
are
okay.
fine with it,
Okay.
they like that
Well, they may be
idea.
coming through a stronger elementary program, but, I think it's valuable for them to see you use these in a way, and to expect them to be able to show things in more than one way.
Yeah, they get mad at me when I do that, but I always felt like it was, you have to be able to
Of course.
have multiple approaches.
Yes. I want to tell you one other, may I?
I-
One
yeah,
other
go
little
first,
thing.
go first.
I remember giving this problem to a group of kids, I can't remember where it was, I've been out of the high school classroom for a while, but it was a group of high school age kids, and I posed the question, if you pick a number and you square it, then you pick one less than the number and one more than the number and multiply them together, will they be equal? And I had any number of kids say, well, yeah. If you lower one of the numbers by one and raise the other by one, sure, that cancels each other out. It will be the same as if we squared the number. And then to realize that this way, it becomes clear not only that it's not true, but why it's not true. I'm sorry, Mary, go ahead.
Yeah, well, just maybe 2 weeks ago, I had a freshman in the elementary math content course come up to me after class and say, why is it units squared? Why is it units
Oh,
squared?
yeah.
Did you
And maybe
cry?
it's because they haven't seen the manipulatives, but, this would again emphasize that, oh, what do we have here? We have
Thank you.
9
Oh.
squares, or however many squares that you made. So we're coming back to that. But I think that's very important too, just to reemphasize what we're talking about here. What is the concept behind all of this? It's not just 9.
Well, it's also geometrically, what is a square, what is a
What does it
rectangle?
mean to
Which
square?
is just so cool,
They
yeah.
use things
Like,
interchangeably,
it's
everything's
clear.
square.
Oh.
No, it doesn't have all 4 equal sides, this is a,
Right, no, that's exactly right, yeah.
So
Build
it's,
them and be great.
it's math modeling. Jan just distributed copies of the Common Core flip chart, which you probably have from last year. It's a nice little tool. If you have you seen it? Common Core flip chart?
I
It's
saw it on a picture.
Yeah, okay. It's just a nice little, looking at
I
the
love it.
standards at various grade levels. You'll enjoy this. We used it last year a little bit when we were thinking about activities and then wanting to be able to make the case in terms of what standard did they align with. So this can be useful to you. I think we've milked this enough.
Yeah, I think it's probably what we need to do is, I don't know hands out there opening the boxes, but we've purchased a number of manipulatives for you, and so we'll be giving them to you. And we've had so.
Some of the square tiles?
Yes, so we do have boxes of those, but there are also other manipulatives out there that will be for the rest of the group when they come on Monday. So because of how things got delivered, we were hoping that you would take your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then
And that'll make that, what has to get hauled over to Smith Hall.
Yeah, a little bit
Yes.
easier.
Yeah.
And the other, then you'll have to.
We have to bring it back up.
Well, that is a big question.
No, next week we will be in Smith Hall. Also, Jan told me too that, see, we have graduation.
Is it this afternoon? The top one being the park website, the bottom one being the ISB website. And I'm wondering if you've been to both of them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
extensively.
Okay.
Can I add one for you guys though? It's called, because I just checked on mine, it's www.map.mathshell, and they have task after task after task
Put it up.
broken
Yeah,
down.
just write
Well,
it
Oh,
down.
I'll tell you what I
Make
thought
sure.
we
Have
would
you
do.
seen that one?
No, I haven't. So we're just gonna get a list of these
Okay.
good problem resources and give them to you electronically, so
Perfect.
it's not
Okay,
such an.
that'd
So
be
if you
perfect.
write that down,
Oh, I-
being ready for the park assessment. And so, I want you to just go to a site in either one of them, go to a place in either one of them that is of interest to you. Like they're both broken down, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and then functions and proportional reasoning and that sort of thing. Go to a site that's of interest to you, notice what's there. Notice what's not there from what you may have been teaching. Just notice a few things. One of the things that's become clear to me just listening to you today is that this whole thing, getting your brain around the whole picture of this thing is so much. And I think if we can just jump in and find a place, figure out what we can, and then move on to another place and figure out what we can, we'll build a cadre of knowledge. Then we'll keep separate from this our list of resources for developing great questions for, yes, because I think we all want both, but when the two merge, sometimes it just becomes,
Overwhelming.
yeah, does that make sense? Are we good with that?
Mhm.
So that's the problem. I saw a couple of you take pictures. Good, you're great.
Okay, this is what you do. When